7 p.m. Good evening, everyone. We will begin the Library Advisory Board for July. We just went over which board members are absent tonight, but we do have a quorum. And so we will proceed with approving last month's minutes.
I have a correction.
Oh, yes, exciting, right off the bat.
Actually, read the minutes. In the icebreaker, there was the thing I said about finding a manuscript in the library. It says Barbara said that, but it was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's all. And this was a good reminder of all the stuff we talked about last month.
Mm-hmm. And my memory wasn't good enough to catch that.
Well, it's because it was what I said. I would
Yeah, no, I
the
get
rest
it.
of you I wouldn't have known, but. Yeah.
Thank you. So do we then make a motion to approve with that correction?
Yeah.
Okay.
So moved.
I second. So June minutes are passed or approved with that amendment. Are there any members of the public who wish to be heard at this time? Past couple months, it's been like a packed house.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't even have the friends here
I
today.
know. Bummer.
What were you gonna say, Katie?
Yeah, I agree. It's very empty there today.
It's a little light. We would have welcomed your
Did
company.
we know that Susie wasn't joining us? I mean, I know that doesn't impact quorum, but we're really light. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
Susie's here either.
she didn't confirm one way or another, which is not
Yeah.
untypical, and sometimes she'll join. Clearly, she has a busy
Life.
between her educator role and her counsel role. So,
Mm-hmm.
so we'll see if she hops on or shows up here. Yeah.
Okay.
What's your daughter doing? Is she dancing?
No, she is. She's watching hip-hop demon hunter.
Oh my gosh, if I hear about that movie one more time.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what were we gonna say?
Right.
Icebreaker.
That's what everybody's watching these days.
Icebreaker, we're moving on to the icebreaker in the agenda. That is very intentional and relevant.
Yeah.
Yeah, so-
Okay, so my icebreaker is, if you could live in any book world, what would it be?
Oh.
Oh, wow. Any book world.
Would you like to model for us a response?
Sure. I know, I think the magical realms are probably the classic way to go, but I don't know, magical realms always have like real evil characters in them. Maybe the Alice Kaufman magical world, but really, quite frankly, I'm gonna go with 100 Acre Wood. What do you think of it?
Oh,
I like that.
not bad.
Okay.
I see you.
I'm coming along for the ride.
And here's our council member, by the way, walking in the door, Katie.
Hi. Welcome. How are you? Welcome on this side. We just got started. Okay. The icebreaker question is, what book world would you like to live in? Yeah.
Do you have one?
I said the 100 Acre Wood from Winnie the Pooh.
Oh.
That's about my magical speed, I think.
And did you say, like, the why is implied just because it's not evil?
Just because I think that the tendency would go towards like some fantastical magical place, but I mean, like, the bad guys are always bad in magical realms. So I'm gonna pick 100 Acre Wood. Like, that's about my speed.
Hmm.
Yeah. And if we went into Harry Potter, we'd be muggles.
Yeah. I feel we are
Well,
in the Deathly Hollows first
right.
part of the story in
Yeah,
our world today.
yeah, exactly.
We're in the part one phase.
Yeah. Okay, I got one. I would like to be in Heidi, because I loved
Oh,
it
that's lovely.
when she went and lived with your grandfather on the Alps. Yeah. I thought about Swiss Family Robinson because that was my favorite book, but I reread it as
You're right, that's an extreme way that's an extreme world to hop into, yeah.
Yeah. But I reread Swiss Family Robinson as an adult, and it's really kind of awful because every time they come upon an animal, they either capture it or kill it. And it wasn't as nice as I had remembered it being, so I'll go with Heidi.
I feel like I'm struggling because I'm not sure like what character I would want to be. The world itself, if I could be the hero, of course, then that would be
Yeah,
a
so
little bit better.
contextual.
Yeah, you know how the story ends. But if you're like a muggle or somebody who's kind of more of a side character,
Yeah.
then your story might not be as great in that. Or even if you have your determinations. My first thought was the Fantasia from Neverending Story. But yeah, I don't want to be the non-heroes that came before betray you. So that would be mine.
It's a very difficult question for me to answer because, especially as a child and a younger teenager, I felt like I lived in books and book worlds anyway. Like they were the form of escapism that I reached for, and so it's like, what is my role in this book world, and that would determine, and my mood, I guess, was I looking for something relaxing and gentle, or something more adventurous and exciting? Anyway, I'm gonna pick.
What if you're you and you just pick the book world that you most like? What if you're
Right.
still you?
So if I could jump in as Jamie, there is a
Right.
series of children's picture books from the 20 teens, from like current times. Chiri and Chira. These two Japanese sisters, and they ride their bikes through all kinds of fantastical worlds, and it's just, the illustrations are gorgeous. And the stories are just very sweet and whimsical, and everyone loves each other, and there's lots of animals, but just visually a beautiful world. And then the other picture book from around the same time, but totally different vibe, is it's also a series, something with Magic Forest, Happy Magic Forest, something Magic Happy Forest. Anyway, it's very kooky and more cartoony, and there's lots of fantastical creatures, and everything's very lighthearted, but also sweet and full of friendship. And I don't know, just feels like not enough spots in the real world kind of have that warm, safe, welcoming vibe to them, except for the public library.
Is it Chiri and Chira?
Chiri and Chira, like Chirri.
Oh, okay.
And Chira is the same with an A. 2 R's.
Okay. Yeah, because I'd like to look for that. I'm very interested. Well,
Started thinking of, there's a book that I really loved, the series Anne of Green Gables. And I really liked how I envisioned that world. Although I can't remember it now. I'm like, what was happening in there? But I did enjoy those stories, and it just it seemed very
That's actually where I went when I came up with this plan. That's where I went in my mind first. But then, I mean, such busybodies and such, which is important to not be a busybody and not be a bully. But all of the neighbors are busybodies and bullies. And
I just
realized I needed to go like for sweet and innocent and younger. But
I
think that's where my brain
remember
went
conflict
first.
in there. I remember
That's
there was
where my brain
conflict.
went first.
And,
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's
Prince
right.
Edward
Yeah,
Island?
Prince Edward Island.
Yeah. Oh, we actually went there. You can go to the
I know,
house.
my sister-in-law's obsessed.
I've now been twice.
That's awesome.
I don't know that I have anything.
What's your alternate landscape?
That's a good way of putting it.
Alternate landscape.
Yeah.
I don't know. My problem is I read so much nonfiction and I keep trying to learn stuff. So it's like it's hard to jump into a character or whatever we're doing here.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh,
Or a
what's
story.
nonfiction book
Or
that
a
has
story.
place?
Well, I mean, okay. I mean, this isn't, now that you just said that. And we did a program here a couple years ago. We brought in Erica Krause, who wrote Tell Me Everything about the CU Boulder and all the football player athletic kind of, anyway, everyone's nodding, so I don't need to rehash the story, but, you know, either to be in there with her or be the person she worked for, the detective, like that would have been kind of cool,
Wow.
actually. You know. And I was, even before that, I was going way back to like college years when I read a bunch of Russian authors and Crime and Punishment. I was like, it'd be cool to be the guy that interviewed, you know, the main character who was psychologically tortured and finally admitted to all this stuff. But anyway, that's
Okay.
really not a happy thing.
So not
And neither was this one.
Yeah.
So I can't, you know, nothing heroic about
Fine, because there is something lovely about choosing a world as well where justice seems to win out the way it's supposed to.
All right, thank
I
you.
think that's a good one too.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. This was a good one,
Yeah.
Katie. Thank you.
I feel like we need to start getting these ahead of time.
So you can think about it.
Like the
Do some
last
homework.
month, one stung me too, I
I
think.
had a weird one.
Anyway,
Well,
maybe not.
maybe
It
the
keeps
person
it
who
keeps it like
volunteered.
fresh a little bit.
Can you send that out?
Yeah. It's okay. We'll keep it spontaneous.
Do we assign next month's icebreaker to one of the absentees? Anybody can really volunteer to bring an icebreaker, even if you're not a voting member.
Hint, hint. I'd probably end up forgetting. Scrambling at the last minute.
Sometimes the scrambled ones are the good ones.
Okay. Yeah, I can do it. I caved, so I gotta put that
I
in.
wasn't trying to get you more on your plate, Susie, but I'll take it.
You know, Susie, just a thought. Like
Thank
it
you.
doesn't have to be book or library related.
Yeah, I know, I was thinking
So I
about,
think
I
the
remember we
world
did
is
those spices
open for
one,
you.
remember
Yeah.
that? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
That was good.
yeah, that was fun.
Council related.
Mhm.
Okay, so our other item of new business this evening is about our Mosher Fund.
Yes, so a little background, which maybe just might be for you. I don't remember how much we talked
Yeah,
about
I've
the
never
Mosher
heard that,
Fund.
so. Please.
So the library was gifted with this fund, the Mosher family. It's a trust years ago, and we are eligible to spend from that fund. It's pretty unrestricted, which is good.
Yeah.
But we are only allowed to spend on the interest earned on that. It was $1 million and some dollars, but we can only spend on the interest earned. And over many years before me getting here, no one was spending from it. So the good news is there's probably $400,000 to $500,000 in there eligible to be spent. And since I've been here, I have used it. The book drop on the west Plaza side patio, which we never had a book drop there, and we really wanted one, so I used the fund to fund that. Out of that, all that money, it was only $6,000. I say only, but and then I used it last summer for our summer reading program to help pad staffing we needed in the children's area, because we were pretty much didn't have a budget increase on staffing, and we're already running short, so I use that to help us fund staffing for summer reading. So there's been a couple things here and there. The Mosher Fund dictates that anytime that I want to potentially spend from it, I need to bring it to the advisory board for a motion. And so that's leads up to now of why it's on the agenda. So there's a few things coming up that I would like to present to the board to pull out of that fund. And I still think, because we haven't spent a lot out of it, it's probably still up around $500,000. So I'm not going crazy, but so one of the items is it's kind of more in the staff uniform area. We don't have a real budget for that, and when staff are out and about, like at outreach events like you've been, one year I purchased a few baseball caps, and I bought t-shirts for hats. T-shirts for staff. So we're just depleted on some of that, and without our budget, I would like to do that. We have a staff day coming up, which I've talked about, and that's always a good opportunity to deliver these things to staff as well. People love the ball caps. I probably could have bought one, but it's a ball cap that has our library logo on it. And so that's one of the items. The other is to replenish some of the t-shirts. I like to give those to new staff that come in, so it wouldn't be near the order that I did initially. And the other is another book drop, a book return drop, to go alongside with the new book locker.
Oh, of course.
The pickup locker, which I will talk about on the agenda. But the locker itself can't handle returns, but we need to have a book return by it, or it'll become a disaster. Plus, it's just a nice thing to have. So, between all those things, what I'm hoping the board will move and advise on is that I can spend, what I added up was about $13,500 all inclusive of all that. I'm just figuring $14,000 is a nice even number. Anything that I don't spend just goes right back into the Mosher. We don't lose it. That way I overestimate it a little bit. And one other thing in there, I forgot to mention, in case, since you should know, for the esports festival and tournament that we're doing in September, Tracy found a company that does race car driving simulator. It's all contained in a big truck, like a diesel truck, and it simulates driving. It's perfect for video games. Comes at a cost. It's around $1,500 to $2,000, and the budget for that tournament so far that the Friends of the Library is supporting, that didn't include that. So I thought, well, let me just pull that out of the Mosher so that we can enhance that tournament.
Is that that's a rental?
Yeah, it's a rental.
It's a rental.
Yeah, oh yeah, I would love to own it.
Yeah.
So
I figured
Tracy,
as much, but
yeah, we would actually that's what we would be doing all day.
Yeah. That sounds good.
Yeah. So sorry, I forgot to mention that, but that's still in the sort of money and the way the process works. So if the board moves to advise that I can pull that out of the Mosher, it goes in the minutes. I take that to our finance and it goes to council to appropriate. It's usually a formality. I shouldn't jinx this by saying it, but when we bring stuff to appropriate to council to officially approve that we can spend that, then I can get all these things for the library. That's what's before you all. But I'm happy to entertain questions or anything that I didn't clarify.
Sounds like worthy things.
What is the timeline for these purchases again?
The staff, like the hats and the t-shirts would be the more immediate. Pending this, probably tomorrow what I would do is go to our finance people and say the board approved spending this, and then I can actually get the ball caps and the t-shirts arranged. The simulator for that esports has a little more time in there, and the book drop is a little ways out.
Yeah.
But at least the money will be appropriated, and so I don't have an issue of, oh crap, I forgot to ask for this. So that's kind of the timing of that. The appropriation that we do to anybody does to council, it's once a month. So this would be in the August appropriation, which will be in August, early August. So that's a little timely for the uniform aspect.
Right.
Kind of for the simulator too, because then we have access to spend the money. Currently, I can't touch it.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm asking because, we can do a couple of things. We can just respond to this one request, but I'm trying to get at. So we look at the nature of your requests, right? I think they're very modest and rational, and they're just not in the operating funds for the library.
Correct.
I wonder if it's worth discussing whether the board has the ability to do something like approve a blanket purchase within a certain time frame. You know, there can be terms or restrictions, however we feel makes sense. But I wonder if it's worth saying that, you know, okay, for the fiscal year 2025, you know, we would approve John spending up to $15,000 from the Mosher Fund without needing to do this. I don't know.
And I can check I actually made a note about this before the meeting. I think I need to check the fund itself and some of the stuff written around it. That would be certainly a streamlined way to do this, is I could kind of come up with a potential budget in the year of what I think I would need to spend from that fund. So that then I'm not reliant on a board meeting in particular like I am now, where the timing is of essence.
Well, I'm imagining if it's not that much.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want you to be in a situation where there was sort of a time sensitive need. You would want to make that purchase by a certain date, and it didn't align for whatever reason with the next board meeting. Like, I wouldn't want that to be a constraint for you in accessing a certain amount of funds for certain types of expenses.
But how would that coordinate with getting the council to actually appropriate it? Would they just, he could just take it and say at the beginning of the fiscal year, say 15,000? See, I think that could be a complication. Well,
I think that when it gets to council, they're just seeing a request for an appropriation. So I think in Jamie's scenario, if the board were to decide once a year up to this amount, and then I don't have to come back here to the board, I just send my appropriation request,
directly,
which is within the budget that this board already advised on, and the details of it, not that I would still share the details here,
Nice,
but
yeah.
then that's what council would be concerned about, is just,
Okay, okay. Yeah, no, I just didn't want us to do something and have to.
no,
Find out.
correct.
You really
And
can't.
honestly, while I'm at it, I didn't make note of this, but one of the things I intend to spend from that fund, which is a little timely, although these usually take a year or so to get, is to get the library its own vehicle,
All right.
which would be particularly timely in having these lockers coming up so that we can deliver materials to the locker as well as outreach.
Right.
And I could probably throw that in here now, just so that it's in the minutes, if it's approved. That would be probably somewhere around, I think overestimating would be 70,000
And
on
this,
top of the 14 I just said.
this board heard about that wish a couple times before. And I'm not
Correct.
remembering where it was left, but I have this feeling like, I mean, this board was in full support, but that it was going to happen somehow.
Well, yeah, it was the year of the election.
Yes.
I actually did bring it here, and the board advised on, yes, you should do that, and then it got tied up in the whole election because it was a part of my
Did it
budget
really?
process.
Yes.
And the problem, and it probably shouldn't have been a part of my budget request, because in my budget, I was very clear to say, like, I'm not asking to get this van out of the general fund. Like, I don't need the city to approve this. I have the funds in my dedicated Mosher fund.
Right.
But what happened was, you know, as we all know, we've talked about it a lot, but the entire library's budget got folded into that election, including our operating budget and any requests I had. So it basically disappeared.
Yeah.
And so now we're back to square one. And the reality is, I don't need it to be a part of the budget process. I just need to know that I have access to the funds and I can contact the right people in the city and fleet management and get the process going on ordering a van. I say a van. It's
Would we
probably
have it like, could we pay to have it shrink wrapped or branded as
can.
the library?
Yeah, and that's why I'm overestimating a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the van itself is probably 55 to 60. So if you add a little bit to get
Custom.
some wraps or something.
Yeah.
And even so, even if I'm wrong, I could come back here and say, okay, we got the van, but I need this much more to do something like that.
A story
So-
time bus.
Well, the original idea was outreach, and I wanted to outfit it with, of course, some books, but also technology,
Right.
more of an outreach mobile van, right? And we did this in the job when I was in California before here, and we called it a literacy. Anyway, literacy outreach vehicle. I don't remember what we called it. And it had have you ever seen the Next Light vehicle around town? But they have a TV that's on the outside, and they can display. So we would do stuff on the TV, and we could set up chairs and do an impromptu classroom anywhere. And this was in horrible places in the California desert. That doesn't matter. But it was like, it was like we found out it was like, most people don't want to sit outside and do this. So the season for that was pretty short, but the idea was phenomenal. But now here, I think we need a little bit of a combination of a vehicle that we can just transport materials to these lockers, but also we could use it for outreach. Even the vehicle itself isn't an outreach vehicle where we're presenting from it, but at least we can move
Take
people and
materials.
things from
And a
place to
table
place.
and a chair.
And it actually saves us money internally because I'm not paying staff for mileage reimbursement or using a city car, which we have to book, which is a nice thing, but they're not always available. So if we just had our own, it would serve a number of purposes. So I'll throw that in here now
Okay.
while we're here, So that kind of all in with everything I talked about would be about 85 grand.
And you've already given thought to where you would, or how you would pay for the ongoing maintenance of the vehicle?
Once you do that through the fleet management, they work in the budget. So the first year would be fine. Then the next year we would have to get in our budget a maintenance agreement, which we would. But the way the budgeting works here is if I have the vehicle, I have to have maintenance, and you also pay for. Part of what you pay for in maintenance is not just the maintenance of it, but replacement value. So that when you get to a point, but if I have the vehicle, it becomes a type of request where you have to have it. Otherwise, you lose. It's that level one.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what I was gonna say, level one.
It's that level one. So it's a very low risk, almost a non-risk, because if I have the vehicle, I have to have maintenance.
Right.
It's just like the library, I have to pay the utility bill, right? It's the same thing.
And you wouldn't need to get additional approvals from Fleet or the city? In other words, if they are going to be responsible for building those costs into your budget moving forward,
Right.
do they have to also approve the purchase of the vehicle?
No. Not in the sense of how it's getting paid for, I should say. I mean, it's more of, it's not, as long as I tell them I have the money to pay for it, they don't care.
Yeah, and because you're doing it
Yeah.
through the whole fleet.
Yeah.
What about an electric vehicle?
It's possible.
I think that would be
They
great.
have it, they're, and
Do they have any?
they encourage it, actually.
Yeah.
So that's a
'Cause
very
really,
possible.
you know,
Yeah.
you're talking about using it within the city of Longmont.
Yeah.
It's not like it's gonna go on long trips or
No,
anything.
no, and the city encourages that if you can do it.
Yeah. That's what
You know,
you're
obviously
saying.
they come at a higher expense.
Yeah.
And ideally, the problem here is our parking structure down below. The ceiling is so low. Most vans are taller.
Mhm.
It'd be great if it was short enough because we have our own chargers here.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it sits at one of the fleet places it charges, and then staff have to go out there to get the vehicle.
Yeah.
That's the only thing about that. If it's a gas vehicle, it can live here.
Mhm.
So I'm just telling you all the scenarios that I know of.
Yeah, I'm just bringing it up.
But they're
Oh.
encouraging electric if you could do it. That's
Yeah.
for sure, and we would if we can.
I bet you could squeeze a Tesla truck down
Oh, God. Please.
And any other manufacturer would be fine.
Yes. Yes.
there. Okay, moving on.
Wait,
So what do we want to do, board members?
So I would say with the numbers I gave you, I would just round it up to 85. That
I
would
think
be Bill.
Katie has a question.
Yeah.
And then Charlene.
Katie?
It was a future question. I was just gonna see if maybe since they finally approved a small parking garage across the street, if they would save a spot for you there.
Well, we could park like in the
That's
church
for-
across the street.
No, the hotel.
Well, no, they just now, and I mean, Susie can correct me, but I think they just approved a parking garage to go in next to the hotel, small one. But I'm just remembering.
Oh, it's outside and inside, right?
Is it outside and inside? I just remember the parking garage.
I heard it was gonna be
To an outside
stories.
space.
Yeah, I heard it was gonna be 2 stories
Yeah.
in what's remaining of the parking lot where the new hotel is.
Well, that's a very interesting thought, right? Because I think any new construction has to have EV chargers now.
Mm-hmm.
Even a private home, if you build a garage, you have to put a charger in. So that's a very good point.
So
Yeah.
I just don't know if maybe a spot could be saved
Yeah.
for you there. And then you could have both things, both the vehicle
And
and the location.
in the proximity, that's a
Right
fantastic
across the street.
idea to present.
Yeah, so staff just walk over.
Yeah.
So my
That's probably a thing for Susie, so. Sorry.
So my question is, bigger picture on the Mosher Fund, if there's that much money in it, are you thinking bigger for like a one-time purchase?
Yeah.
Or something like that?
There's some other things in line. Some of it I'm waiting to see what happens through my budget request. We had a few one-time requests, right, which I presented, I shared here. I may come back here with requests to fund some of those because I think they would be extremely impactful. So like for one, the literacy center upstairs,
yeah.
and it's a pretty low cost. We're talking $20,000. I say that's low because it could be a lot more, honestly, if you did that. You know, I can't remember, but there's some other things in there that I may be like, I may come back here.
Okay.
And kind of see. But that's the next sort of maybe immediate thing I have, you know. But when you can only spend on interest, and I'm grateful that no one has spent on it because
Yeah.
it's where it is, but you know that can go quickly.
Yeah. Do you know about how much it generates per year?
No.
No. And of course.
I mean, I can find out.
Yeah, that changes, of course, depending on the age.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And there isn't a cap on how much of that interest you can spend in any one
No.
calendar year or anything
No.
like that. Okay.
And whoever set up that trust fund, it's very accommodating to the library because there's no parameters. It's like, I mean, they want it to benefit
Yeah.
the library or the public. There's some kind of statement in there, and I think whoever gifted it had some either personal involvement with deaf and blind because they kind of mentioned like accessible things, but everything we do can kind of meet that. But it's a very nice thing because they really didn't stipulate what we can do.
That is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had some funds that
Yeah.
see you and, you know, oh, you can only spend it on this kind of book for
Yeah,
this.
because
you know.
someone
And, you
dictates
know,
what they want.
You
Yeah.
can't spend it on electronic stuff, you know.
Yeah.
It's just not, yeah, so it's very nice.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments?
So do we need to make a motion?
I would need a motion
Right.
to advise on the library spending from the Mosher Fund for all the things mentioned, uniforms, driving simulator, a book drop, and a van, totaling around $85,000.
I move that we approve that request.
Right, I motion that. Second.
Okay,
Okay, seconds, it passes.
that's it.
You got it.
And I'll keep the board updated, obviously, on what happens. The van's not going to be something immediate, but I need to tackle some of these other things first.
Should we revisit this conversation in the new year around the idea of like a blanket approval?
Possibly. I
Well,
want
we have
to
to
check
find
on.
out
I
more
want to check on the
information.
fund and how it's written, and I need to probably ask either finance or legal about that. Like,
I
can the
hear
board
that.
just do this?
I just want to know if like any of our board members have like a strong like, oh no, that's a terrible idea. We don't know what he'll spend it on.
So in
No, I
that-
think it's a great idea. I really do think it's quite dependent on how the trust is written.
Yeah.
yeah, and I think that.
I think it,
Go ahead, Katie.
no, that was it.
Oh, I was just going to say that in that scenario, you know, if there's sort of like, okay, it's the new year, we're doing this, like the library needs $100,000 this year from the Mosher, we approve it, I would still come back here, not necessarily for another motion, but just as I do, like, okay, you did this is what I'm intending to do upcoming.
Right. I imagine if we were able to move forward with that kind of approval, there would be like a condition of,
Yeah.
you know, being reported back
Right.
to.
Yeah.
So.
And remind me, the fiscal year was January?
Yeah, the city's year
City's
is
year.
January to December.
Yeah. I'm used to June.
I know, everyone's different.
Okay.
Thank you.
Cool.
Old business.
On to old business. Wanted to have some time on the agenda to briefly debrief about our volunteer efforts at the concert on July 12th. And yeah, how did it go? Did you feel like it was worth having a presence there? We shared a booth very close to the stage, a tent rather. We shared a tent space on the corner of 4th and Kimbar with the Friends Board, and also Lillian was there as library staff for much of the time. What went well? What did you enjoy about it, those of you who were there? What do you wish had been done differently or feel like could be done differently next time? And then we have the next date coming up on August 9th.
Right.
And I can send out a link to just a very simple sign-up sheet, which is something I thought about doing last time, but then once we were there, now we're getting into the debrief, but you know, it might be easier to be able to see visually who is working what shift.
I did think there wasn't enough room because there were at least 3 of us there when I was there, plus Lily. She was out. She was always out grabbing people, but and we all kind of just sit when you can't stand the whole time, and there just wasn't room for 3 chairs in there, and then you wanted to get up and talk to people and stuff. So, but I don't know. The tent is only so big, so like that.
There were 3 tables squeezed into that space.
Yeah.
And
we wanted to be in the shade.
Probably 4 or 5 of us at one time for chunks of time. So yeah, it was a little tight, and it was I've worked in tents that had like the L shape with the tables, but this was a C shape where we were really kind of trapped.
Yeah.
So that also made it a little trickier to come out around the tables and either talk to somebody or go wander or whatever.
Well, we could have, the table that had the free kids books could have been turned around so that it then did make an L. And then they would have been more visible too.
Yeah, because they were kind of round the corner.
Yeah, so people didn't see that. So that's just a thought for next time. I did think the location was good because we were not in a row of other tents and other vendors. We were right there on the corner, visible.
Right.
And then there were hula hoops that attracted all the little kids and then their parents following. So I thought that was really good.
I thought the hula hoops were great and engaging. I don't recall many people looking at the books. Like the book table.
Yeah.
A couple glanced over, but I kind of felt.
Yeah, but I think Charlene might be right that they were kind of hidden.
Yeah, we had to, because there would be families standing in front of the table and they didn't even know that the books were there.
Or that they were for them.
That they were for them, and that they were free to take. You should probably have a sign that says free takeover or something. And maybe put that on the more visible side, That's where the friends came. Anyway, I think we can improve the logistics.
Katie, what did you think? What was your read?
It was great. I thought it was great. I was very pleased with it. I thought it was, I thought it was really good. I thought the mix of kind of personality styles there was good. Yeah, I thought it was good.
And you felt
No.
no notes? You felt
No.
it was
No.
there was an impact or a purpose in having advisory board members there?
Well, yes, because staff time. I think that's really a goal. Obviously, we are not the pros, and so then that is something for the pros to decide if we were good enough. But I think that in the effort of freeing up staff time and having us be there, I hope we were effective enough, for sure. And I think when people find out that you're volunteers as well, it kind of makes up for, the lack of polish necessarily. It always, I work in that position and it always sounds better coming from a volunteer than it does from me. There's just nothing to make up for knowing that people are giving up their time here. And so I think that makes up for some of, whatever we lacked. Not that I think that we necessarily did. So yeah, I thought it was very.
We had some good conversations. Our little clicker, we counted 120 interactions during that time, and we broke down like around 7:30 was when the headlining performer came on, and at that point, a lot of the families with smaller children were kind of starting to recede, and it was more people setting up their chairs for the stage. And so, yeah, after about 15 minutes of just not much foot traffic. So all that to say that from 4 o'clock until 7:30, 120 exchanges, and that's, I'm sure we missed a few of those. It was probably higher than that between us and Lillian and Wanda from the Friends.
So I think that's a good point about leaving the kind of the dynamic changes and it's getting dark, and I think that's a great point. Sounds like that was a great decision on the fly.
Any recommendations for next time?
No, I think continuing on it. Yeah. And I think too, just Lily getting more comfortable with this as well and feeling comfortable to be like, okay, you guys got this, I'm gonna go. I think it's just a matter of like building, rapport and trust, and her feeling comfortable with us taking over is a good thing too.
Yeah, she's, been so used to doing most of these things herself, and maybe with some staff support. So she, I think it's fantastic to have others there, but she's probably certainly gotten into a mode of like, this is how you do things at these things. And, but, I know she's grateful, and she said as much to me, it was great to have everyone there. And it gave her the freedom to be out there, like outside of the booth.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what she's good at.
Yeah.
And I do think it's important for her to have a heavy hand with us, especially at the beginning when we're getting used to it. That's great. So, yeah.
And it's a little different. It's a little different in the sense that if it's our own staff doing these events, it's a little different, like as far as the coaching and the guidance that she might give with our own staff of how library staff should do an outreach event. But this is different. It's more of a partnership and a collaboration, not like I'm going to tell you how to do this thing. So
it was still pretty cool though. She did tell us how to sign somebody up for a library card.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was fun. I felt very powerful.
That's
that was
really
great
good.
because
Yeah.
we didn't actually have.
Which we wouldn't be able
We
to
hadn't
let
known
you
that.
do outside of an event like that, because it's all on paper.
Right.
But if we did it in-house on our library system, then we can't allow anyone on our ILS.
Yeah.
Right?
So it's the right venue to do that.
Yeah.
And it's not hard, right? People fill out a form, you get an ID. It's like, I think that's great.
We just
I think
write
that's
the
great.
number from the card on the form.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, should we try to request the same location? Is that
I think Colin, he emailed me, so Colin is one of the uppers in the LDDA who organizes this event, and actually he had emailed me today to express some concern that there was confusion on the location of where you guys were.
a little bit?
And I just said, I haven't heard any of that. I've only heard good things about them being there.
It worked to our advantage, so
Yeah.
we were initially supposed to be directly across Kimbark from the library.
Okay.
And sort of like on the lip of that parking lot and kind of sandwiched between some other vendors, very close to the bouncy castle or bouncy house.
Yeah.
And so when we found out that there was a misunderstanding, the organizers offered to move us. This is when we were first setting up, and I didn't feel like at liberty to make that decision, so I consulted with Wanda and Lillian, and we liked where we were.
So you liked where you
they let
were?
us stay put.
So what I
And
told
that was
him
the
was
corner
I
of
didn't hear
Kimbark.
anything negative.
Yeah.
But what I will do is confirm with him tomorrow that for the 9th concert, you like that location.
We did.
And I think that's his intention.
So the organizer, like, after we started setting up and they realized their mistake, they came back and they were very, effusive, like apologetic, and, oh, we can help you move, we're so sorry. They assumed we would rather be in the other spot because it was kind of closer to more kid activities.
Right.
But from my perspective, as board members and friends members, we were as interested in having conversations with adults as much as we were with
Yeah.
having
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah.
No, I'll just tell him the same place is
I know
good.
a ton. All you do is put out those hula hoops and
Oh my
kids
gosh,
just
that was
come.
yes.
Yeah,
So-
and drag the parents with them.
And they're
So-
dancing.
Oh, yeah.
They were hula hooping to the music, so it looked like very.
Some of us were hula hooping as well.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, I saw that. I may have taken some.
I know.
candid
When I did
photos.
this concert the first year I was here, and,
Yeah.
Willie brought out the hula hoops, and then, oh man, when some of the adults got in, and
Yeah.
especially,
Remember that one
especially
guy
the ones that
toward
maybe
the
had
end?
a couple beers. I'm not.
Oh, yes!
No judgment.
That happened! That's
But
when
it's-
I looked at Wanda and I was like,
That
it's time
is
to
the
pack it
best
up. I was
entertainment.
like, does that man have a child associated with him? No.
No.
He was
just a
he
random
was just-
guy. Okay.
No, there's people that just love
Just
having
love
a good
doing
time.
it.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So
It's
Did
so
you
good.
sign him up for a card?
And then he stumbled off before I could get to him.
But also, if their kids are hula hooping, they can stand right there and talk to
And
us.
talk, and the
instead
kids
of
are entertained.
Watching.
Yes.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
I think.
No, it's
that
good.
whole
I'll
thing
write
is
to
great.
Colin tomorrow and
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
confirm like that.
That's our
Actually,
spot.
it turns out that location was perfect, so please don't change it.
Mhm. The last thing
Okay.
I'll say on this is that it's not a criticism, it's just a notice that events like that are in the street, that are very well attended, that have loud music, the nature of the types of conversations that we can expect to have are just a little bit more superficial, right, than if we were inside at a table and I don't know, it was just
Yeah, like at a book
Yeah.
event or a talk or something like that.
Right.
Where people are there for a different kind of activity.
right. So anybody who had like serious questions or wanted to really engage the board about
Yeah.
library stuff, like it wasn't a
No.
great place for that. It was
Yeah.
like, what? Huh? You
No,
know?
and that's the nature of that event in
Yeah.
itself.
Yeah. But
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think that's the case anytime you table at an event where you're tabling at somebody else's event, basically,
Mhm.
because that's not why people are there.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, because then you're finding there's people who are completely green. And I will say that I feel like we did have some good conversations with people who had just moved to town, or
Yes.
used the library here where they worked instead of their home library. And so yes, probably not necessarily board conversations or volunteering conversations, but come back to the library because they're already regular users. So yes, this was definitely more of appealing to kind of green people. I'd say.
Visibility.
Yep.
It was great for increasing visibility. And we did field several questions about board activities specifically. So I'm just going to be thinking about, like, are there other opportunities in the community where we could have a different kind of presence? You know, even a couple of us to be on hand at outside of a library event, similar to, like, sometimes the friends pop up a table at an author event or so on. You know, would a board member, take on that event with the lovely tags? Thank you so much for getting us those not name tags, but badges, and be like, hey, let's talk about library stuff. Cool.
High five.
Thank you to my many volunteers. 1, 2, 3.
Barbara was there.
Barbara, Nicole was there. Yeah, that was really cool.
And I discovered after I got home, I had forgotten, I had a library volunteer t-shirt too. They gave it to us when I was doing the homebound stuff, and it was in the bottom of my drawer, and I didn't think about wearing it. Next time I wear it. Because I think that made us look like we were part of the booth and not just random people milling around,
Well, I thought the name tags helped too.
They help, yeah. But
It made us look more official.
yeah, but the uniform t-shirts.
Okay, thank you. Locker news.
So speaking of home pickup lockers, we completed the RFP for that and selected a vendor just last week and got approval on that. It's the city. We did a process here called Best Value. What is it? Best Value Approach. I knew what the A was. Yeah. Best. If you've ever been involved in RFPs, they can be pretty extensive. The Best Value Approach is a really good way to go about something like this because you are evaluating as the evaluator. I don't see their proposed cost until after I've chosen who I think is best.
Okay.
And so what it means is I'm choosing what I think is the best value for the library in the city, and it may not be the cheapest one. But cost still matters. So in this case, the vendor that myself and the team, the panel that did all the scoring, Tracy included, and the interviews with the vendors, the vendor we chose happened to be the most expensive. However, they're a known quantity. It's the same vendor as our sorter, our automated materials handling, AMH as we like to call it. And they sync very nicely together. But there was a little bit of enough of, it was just over the price difference where I had to justify why. And so did the vendor. But between the two of us, the purchasing manager for the city approved moving forward. So that vendor is named Lingso, Lyngsoe, Lingso, and they're I think a Denmark-based company so that's where they started anyway. That's where our sorter's from. The sorter is fantastic. I knew already a lot about their lockers, so I'm not surprised that I happened to, at least myself, score them highest because I knew their minimum requirements that I wanted, and at the end of the day, it's like the higher cost of the equipment itself will be far less than the staff time involved in maintaining a lesser expensive system that requires way more staff maintenance. So, it wasn't too hard to justify. So, what I'm waiting on now is for purchasing to get back to me. They had to get some other information from the vendor of requirements that they have to do, which I'm sure we'll check out, and then we will move forward with a couple meetings with them and start talking about scheduling and delivery. So it's a lot closer. And this was for two of them. So they bid on two. One is for the initial one that is still currently planned at Centennial Pool. And then the second one would be that housing development on Hope Route 17.
Yeah, Ascent.
Ascent.
Mhm.
I mean, I am sure in 10 years I'll remember the name of the development. Maybe, I can never get it in my head. I always say, like, it has a name, but
It
you
has
know
a
what it
name,
is.
yeah. It's all right.
I can't remember that one either.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ascent,
It's
and
always
it's
fun.
going to be a great location for something like this also. And that's still in process, so that'll be later in the year or even into early next year. The way we bid on it with the vendors is that second one is kind of a TBD install, and they were all fine with it. So very excited about that because we're moving forward and it's going to start happening. So that's basically the update on that. I don't have any real sense of timing until we have a couple meetings with the vendor. And
What would your wish be for timing?
by the end of the year is my only wish. There's a lot of things that have to happen. The vendor themselves, they can produce and deliver one of these lockers probably within 6 to 8 weeks. It's the other side of it, which they have some involvement in, but most of it's internal, right? So it will be outside, but it needs network connectivity. And so I need the city's IT department involved. I need facilities involved because it's outside. How are we going to run wiring inside the building to get electrical and network? So there's a lot there, and that will probably involve other contractors, which is fine. And actually, because we bid on 2 of them, the price per locker came down, which leaves me a little flexibility for things like this. Like if I have to bring in another outside company to do some work, whether it's me or IT or facilities has to bring in a contractor, I have a little bit of room to pay for that now. So it's good.
Do you have plans how you're going to announce and promote this? Like once it's
I have vague plans in my mind.
okay.
I need to get some of these details. I need to share a lot. I've shared some information with staff. But until we kind of meet with the vendor and get a real in-depth on what's involved, right?
Right.
Besides what you know, like obviously we have to make deliveries to this locker at least once a day. And that'll involve staff. But how often do we need to do it? There's just a lot of details that, I need to try to get a sense of so we know what the staff involvement is and or volunteers, because it could be that. As we get closer, I'll work with my marketing person in the library and get some press release out and all that good stuff that does all the good warm fuzzy stuff. Not quite there.
Very exciting.
Yeah.
Anything else about lockers? And one of these lockers will have the new book drop, or both of them?
Probably both. But the one book drop I talked about before would be for this immediate one at Centennial.
Okay.
I don't know enough about the housing development yet. I imagine we'll need one there, but I feel like the timing on that is a little bit out.
Okay, they're not
done.
current.
Yeah. No.
It's going to be one after the other. Okay.
We're talking months apart. It could be a year apart.
Okay.
I just don't know the details of Ascent. See, if I say it, I can remember it. But I would imagine we'll need one there, but I also have to see, I know at Centennial there's space for it. At the housing, I have to kind of see where all of this is going.
Yeah.
and what that looks like. Yeah.
Because it would be open for people who are not residents of Ascent.
Correct.
So it's not like it would be
Yeah.
inside or.
No,
like a
it would
fence.
hopefully be outside.
Outside.
Yeah.
And in an easy accessible space, so they're not having to go through the parking lot.
Yep.
They said yes, right?
I thought so.
Ascent people?
Well, Ascent is the Longmont Housing Authority, it's us.
It's us.
Right,
So
but
the-
there's a separate team that like manages it.
It's all us.
Okay.
It's the city.
It's all the city,
Yeah.
yeah. It's the
Which
same
is why
people,
the
we just
city
have
manager
different-
is the one that approved the funding for it.
Yeah,
Okay.
so we just wear different hats as the Housing
Yeah.
Authority Commissioners and then City Council.
Yeah. It's one of the same.
Literally the
Literal-
same people.
We are literally
Yeah.
the same people.
No.
Well,
like we're all
sometimes they
on
have
the same
meetings under
team.
housing authority.
Yes.
And sometimes they're city
Okay.
council.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So it's all
Oh.
here.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's great.
So I didn't need much more than the city manager saying he wants
Yes.
it.
Yeah.
We just switch
Yeah.
hats.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that's very cool because the Centennial Pool is kind of on the east side of
Mhm.
Longmont.
Mhm.
The 17th is, and then people don't have to drive down here where the traffic is so horrible.
No, I think it's the best of both worlds.
Yeah, yeah.
I live up there, I'll drive my books
Yeah.
in the book drop up there.
Exactly.
You
Yeah.
know?
I mean, the second part of that, which I would like to do, is like the kind of the quote unquote book vending,
Yeah.
where it's more of a browsable collection, not just hold pickup.
Yeah.
That way people can just spontaneously find stuff to check out.
Mhm.
And I think the Ascent would be a perfect location for that, not so much the pool.
Right.
Yeah.
But because it's a housing place, so
Mhm.
Yeah.
they might want to just pop down and see what's in the
Yeah.
locker to check
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I think, as we unveil these lockers, we should have an event or something.
I would like to do like when we do Centennial, have like an official opening, like a ribbon cut.
Ribbon cutting.
Yes.
Demo.
Like parks and
Here's how you use it.
We'll do a demo. Yeah. Oh my god! Can I tell you a story?
Facebook reel.
So way back when, this was in probably the early 2000s when I lived in the Bay Area. And I worked for a library system there. And if you've ever been in the Bay Area, they have a transportation system called BART.
Yeah.
And I lived all in the mix of that. And this was at the very beginning of book vending machines. And in fact, this library system was one of the first probably in the country to implement it. And we did it at 2 BART train stations.
Okay.
And the opening of one of them, the BART people wouldn't let us do it, but we wanted to be skating around in like Shakespearean costumes on roller skates.
Let's do it.
Because we're in California. Nothing's normal. And we were allowed to be in costume, but they're like,
You're not.
there was too much liability to be
Yeah.
like, because we
Is
could
it-
like
was
skate
it
off
the
the platform
skates?
into a train.
Oh my god!
Yeah, no, we
That
don't
was
have
what
that.
they said no to, was the skates.
Yeah.
Not the
Yeah.
Shakespeare.
No, they didn't care what else we
Oh,
did.
no.
They just didn't want us accidentally like rollerblading off of the platform into the tracks. But we had a grand time. I mean, it was a blast. So I mean, you can make these things a lot of fun. I mean, we actually rented out like, I guess, professional costumes.
Okay.
You know, it was myself and one other person. If I'm brave enough, I can probably find a video for it.
Oh man.
Hopefully, I'll forget I ever said that. Yeah. Anyway, so you can have a lot of fun with these things.
Yeah, you
I
can.
feel like in Colorado, and there's no train platform risk.
No, we can do skates.
You know, yeah, whatever,
Unicycle.
whatever. Yeah, it's all anything goes. Right?
Anything goes. Yep.
Fun.
Moving on from fun to reports and information.
I mean, it's not fun. It's just it's a little.
Well, that's up to you.
It depends. Actually, it's up to you. I'm going to share with you, and you decide how you want to receive this information.
Bring buckets.
Next time. So, I just have a couple things. One is, and we'll see where this goes, but in September is National Library Card Sign-Up Month. Always something we spend a good deal of time on doing. And one of my employees had the idea that we should see if City Council will make a proclamation for Library Card Sign-Up Month. So I wrote up the proclamation today. I asked the city clerk, can I do it, or does it can it only be the public? And she said, no, you can.
Yeah.
I mean, the city manager office first approves whether they want that to go forward, and then it would go to council, and then it would get presented at a council meeting. So I'll keep the board updated. If this happens, where it goes through and gets approved, and I don't know which the council date would be, but this is probably good information for you, Jamie, because I implicated you in this. It asks when you submit the form, who will be who will be present for the proclamation, and so I said myself and the advisory board chair. Now, the good news is, if this happens, proclamations are always done at the beginning of the meeting.
Right.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
And the mayor reads it.
And we all take a picture. And
I've seen them done.
Very warm and
I mean, if you want to speak, you.
Yeah. You can do it up to a 20-minute speech if you want.
No.
I'm kidding.
No.
Even Susie's like,
No.
are you kidding? No. That's usually not the way it goes. The mayor reads it, and we all smile, and then it's great. It's a nice publicity. It'll get in the paper that way.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens, but I wanted to let the board know that I did submit that.
Okay.
And at the end of the day, whatever day the council meeting is, if this goes that far and you can't be there, not a big deal. I just thought I would put you in there because I didn't want to have someone show up that's not on the list, quote unquote. So there's that I wanted to share. And then there's two other things related to immigration law, which we've talked about a little bit before. But one of them, one of our legal team, and he kind of has oversight of what we call external services, which is recreation, culture, and some other departments. And he wrote up a letter for staff. It's not a letter. It's sort of, it's kind of like a little informational thing that should we encounter federal agents in the library, some guidance on what we should do or not do, which includes recognizing what a judicial warrant looks like from the feds as opposed to something that isn't. I think it's just good to be prepared in case. And so I will be sharing that with staff, but I wanted to let you know of that letter. And once I do that, I can probably share it with the board. It's kind of an internal letter, but it's nothing that's different than other things, including the new state law, which I also brought up, regarding also federal agents accessing public space. And the state wrote a new law about that, about information that particular organizations, such as a public library, but plus others, what we are required to do or not do. It's really for our protection. Now, most of it, first of all, what the law requires is that we have to have a publicly facing policy and procedure of what staff would do in light of federal officers coming in for some reason. And, which is fine. Except that the library, the way we generally function here, which is my preference, is we have policies, which are public facing generally, and procedures, which are for us. Well, they want policy and procedure in one document. In an ideal world, I would just sort of add a few elements to our current privacy policy, which is an internal document for staff, of how we work within state law and local law enforcement so that we can support local law enforcement and so they can support us in various situations. I don't want that public facing because it's very procedural. And the city attorney advised me, like, well, you could probably just update something or you can create a new policy. Well, I've created a new one or a draft of one in light of this because I think this needs to be kept separate. I don't, our privacy policy for staff is so specific to us and police. We work very closely with Longmont Police because if you know library state statute in you know, user records as they call it, right? But it's basically privacy of patrons and you know, in general, if someone, even our local law enforcement comes in and they're just sort of like come up to the desk like, have you seen such and such? Without any other information, the library staff response would be, you're welcome to look around. I can't share with you the whereabouts of anybody. But if it's an emergency, or we've called them ourselves, we absolutely can and should. But that's not the same rule with federal agents. Because there's not an emergency, probably. I mean, if they have a warrant, that's one thing. And then it'll come to me, or I'll go to police or legal to get guidance on what I should do or not do. The direction to staff is pretty much come get me. And if I'm not here, our own city attorney's office has sort of a legal hotline, or just call local police and let them help out with it. I don't really want staff to feel like they have to make a decision. And you've seen enough in the news to know what the appearance of some of these federal officers, it's pretty intimidating. And
not even clear.
It's not even
they
clear.
are federal officers.
Yeah,
so.
it's exactly.
That's
so,
what I was going to ask. In the state law, does it allow staff to ID? Okay.
We don't give the. You mean? I'm sorry.
To ID the ICE agent. To ask to see their.
We can. It doesn't specify it.
Okay.
You can ask who they are. It's sort of like anybody's right, actually. Kind of the direction with staff is really to get me, or at least a manager, to talk with them and then ask for some, and really it would be only if they're wanting to look for a specific person or access a staff area, which is restricted. And that's and that's restricted to them as just as it is to anybody else. So that's why I say that's not different than anything you do.
No, and it's very similar to how the school district approaches. The unique thing with the school district is our front doors are locked. So all
so they
reception areas, we were instructed to leave them at the door and contact. We have numbers to contact our legal, and they would come out.
Correct. So for the library. And the important thing for us to know, and for staff, which we know, but still, I mean, I can imagine if someone came in armed and in these face vests or whatever, but if they don't ask staff for anything and they're just walking around the library, there is nothing we do. It's like any member of the public. You're allowed to be in here. You're allowed to walk around. It's a public space. But as soon as they start asking for information, or they want in the staff area, that's where it changes. And that's sort of the direction, and the state law kind of basically specifies the same thing, but we add to that what the procedural side for us is. So I've written a draft of that, and it's basically like kind of what I just said. It's you start having to add details, but really it's just like, come get me. And I will deal with it. And also that staff should feel as comfortable as they can letting somebody know, I need to get somebody that can help you. And not feel the pressure of they have to answer that or respond immediately just because of a presence that makes you feel uncomfortable. There's no reason for that. And so that's what it says. So and just keeping the board updated on some of these things. And I think I've mentioned this before too, our staff day that's coming up on August 15th, the Colorado, what is it? Alliance on Immigration Rights? Come on, Tracy.
Yeah, I think.
Court. You might know too.
Is it SIRC?
Yes.
Colorado Immigrant Rights Coalition?
Thank you.
Oh, guess what? The director, the Northern Regional Director, Kaylee Leon, was my former first grade student.
Wow.
I think that's who's doing our training.
Oh my God!
I'm almost positive.
Baby!
I have to look up my email.
Yeah, she's our Northern Regional Director.
I arranged
so she
this
does
obviously
everything.
some months
That's
ago.
hysterical.
So the Know Your Rights training, which I
Uh-huh.
did, I was fortunate enough to be invited by the city's equity team when they did a small group of it. And I just thought, this is so good. And there were so many things I didn't know. Because up until now, like I just didn't need to know what would happen if an ice agent came because it was never anywhere on my mind. Now it's on my mind. And
Back in 2016 and 2017, I used to lead the training for the Colorado Education Association in Maldev.
oh wow.
Yeah, so at
So,
the national
okay.
level, so I know as well.
Well, I just
And it's important to know.
it's important, and I think
Just-
as a public library,
yeah.
and this is an opportunity to get staff trained, and not only for themselves, but just to help field public questions.
Mhm.
And it's not to advise anybody, right?
No.
Like, and that's something that this other stuff says is like you're not here to advise people.
Yeah.
You're not here to hide people from somebody. Like you're going to get yourself in
Right.
trouble.
Yes.
But we're an information center,
Mhm.
and so if someone comes in, I want my staff to feel knowledgeable enough to either direct them to the same organization and be able to give them some information and for themselves, and for any staff here. If that ever happens where someone comes into this facility, I want staff to be somewhat prepared on behalf of themselves or their colleagues or anybody, patrons that may be in here, of what they should and shouldn't do.
Does the library make those red cards available?
We can print 'em.
Know your rights, kind of
Well, the CERC has some.
handouts.
Yep. CERC, they have some, and then there's another, the red cards are probably more well known, and you can print those on demand.
Yes,
Yeah.
we do it
Yeah.
at the hub.
Yep.
Oh, okay, like these.
Yep.
Yep.
And I actually have a huge box of them too, so if anybody needs some, let me know.
And so hopefully from that training we'll get some, but if not, and we had some a little bit from when I did the training. They gave me a stack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, we try to have that available. That's what I mean is like knowing for staff what information to give to somebody who may have questions.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
The know your rights piece is the one that
Yeah.
stands out to me.
Yeah.
So that's that's that. I guess that's my director report. Sorry, not to end that if there's other questions or comments, but that's what I have to.
I have something, I got feedback, so does that go under information or library board comments?
Either or, we can.
If you're finished?
I am.
Okay. So, I belong to this German group at the Senior Center, and it's really a friendship group. We just happen to speak German to each other. Nice people, And somebody brought one of the library handouts about the summer programs and said, "This is really great, look at all these things," and passed it around. So I said, "Great opportunity, here's a segue." So I asked them, what do you think of the library? Do you have any comments, things you would like to see? And I got several things. So the first one was a guy who uses Libby and likes to listen to ebooks. And he was kind of critical because he said, yeah, but you can't get anything, and so he uses Hoopla, which is from the Boulder Public Library. So I think his criticism was that we just don't have enough availability.
I totally agree with him.
That's what I thought, yeah, and I did kind of say something about you know, it's a budgetary thing.
Someone was talking about that at the concert too.
Yeah, that, you know, you just have to wait forever.
Correct,
Yeah,
I've
you
been
wanna
waiting
vote
for
now.
that for 3 months.
Yeah, exactly. So I did
It's-
try to
yeah.
communicate that it was kind of a budgetary thing.
It's 100% a budgetary thing.
Yeah.
And in the digital world of ebooks, and particularly audiobooks,
Yeah,
hugely expensive.
yeah, and that's what,
and
and I told them
we
about.
could pour our entire collection budget into e-audiobooks,
Yeah,
and it still wouldn't satisfy people
yeah,
because there's just too much demand.
yeah.
And Hoopla is a fabulous platform, and even more expensive because that's a pay-per-use system. So
Okay.
you can budget for it, but it's like, but basically what happens is you can say like, this is my budget for the month, or you say the year, and then they'll average it out.
Yeah,
And
Oh, he did say
then enough
that.
people use it, and then you hit the cap.
yeah.
The rest of the people get a message on Hoopla that says, sorry, the library's cap has been reached.
He said that, yeah, that he got that, and then you have to
Yeah.
wait till the first of the next month.
Correct.
And then you can ask, yeah.
You know, so
Isn't that wild?
it's
Yeah.
it's so wild. Yeah.
I'm not
So
looking at
he's
you.
right. I mean, I feel his pain, and
Yeah. Well, I did try to
yeah.
explain, you know, that it's a budgetary, and then I explained about, you know, what we talked about the last time about, you know, you have to keep paying for the same books
Yeah.
once you've reached a certain number of uses, you know.
Yeah, then you
And
have to
everybody
buy-
went,
you have to buy
"What?"
it again.
You have to buy it
Yeah.
again, you know,
Yeah.
which you don't with print books.
Yeah.
So at least I felt like I was kind of communicating
Yeah.
this is part of our problem. So that was one. There was someone who said about kids' books, she really would like, because it's so overlapped, especially the picture books, because they're just in bins,
Uh-huh.
you know, and how do you find good ones and that kind of thing. And she said it would be really cool if they could pull out the award-winning ones and maybe have them in a separate place.
We do that sometimes.
Yeah.
Do you know something?
Yeah. Just so that, you know, she'd have some place to start about picking out books that she knows are going to be good.
Yeah.
You know?
So there's a couple ways. I mean, one is I think the children's staff do pull out things like that on occasion for special displays.
Yeah.
The other thing is to just ask staff of award-winning, but if they want to just browse it,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that would take
That would be-
a display.
That would
And
be
also
a
understand
showing area. I know.
the bins, and I know bins. The whole philosophy around the bins is for children to browse,
To
not
browse
adults.
and not
And so they can go through and like, oh, I like that picture of the dinosaur. That's what I want to check out.
Yeah.
And then they get reading because they found something
Because
they
they
want.
picked something they
But
want.
when it's on the shelf with no access to the cover, and all you see is that mini
The little
spine.
spine.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
less likely that they want to check out as many books
Yeah.
because they just don't know what they're looking at.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Yeah.
There's a filter too with the catalog
yeah,
where you can.
you can
look
definitely
up
You can
search
look
for
for
it.
Caldecott.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's ways to get at it,
I know.
but not in the
No.
way that I think this person is presenting.
Yeah.
At least not consistently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I've tried, because I was actually looking for some specific books, because I was interested in maybe doing some art illustrating stories, and so I wanted to get some examples, and I had some specific ones with authors. And I had a really hard time finding them in the bins, because, yeah, it's like, okay, well, this is the SHs, but they're not really alphabetical, and you have to look through them.
I know.
That was a lot. But that's from an adult point of view, and I see what you're saying about
Yeah,
from
it's a
kids.
kid point of view.
It's a kid point of
And
view.
trust me, library staff, especially people, staff that have to, when someone places a hold on one of those books from either here or another library, and to find it,
Yeah.
because you're not in an organized system.
Yeah.
And so they're just going like this, trying to find the hold. So,
Yeah.
like, there's staff that aren't crazy about it either, but it's like, sorry, this wasn't created for you.
Yeah, this is for the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that was helpful to know. And then someone else asked if she could volunteer to teach a beading class for kids in the library. And And I didn't know if that was appropriate or whether that's something more that the recreation department does or.
I mean, so for the library's purposes, anybody that wants to do a program if it's for kids or adults, whoever,
Yeah.
they just need to contact the library. They would be like a presenter.
Yeah.
Like we bring in presenters all the time.
Yeah.
It would be them doing it. It wouldn't be necessarily a library program. Now,
Yeah.
if they
That-
want
that-
to,
that-
if
that's
they're
what she
hoping
says.
to, the other avenue is through recreation,
Yeah.
where they could get hired on as a contractor, and they would actually get paid to do it.
Yeah.
And so that would be the other avenue.
And a little bit to that, at least from a library's perspective, if someone was actually interested in either whether we did it or kind of contracted with that person, there is a form they could fill out online,
Yeah.
and that's the best way to get that info
Okay.
to the right person.
Okay.
So it's just a make a suggestion form.
Yeah.
Sure. That's what it's called.
Yeah, make a suggestion.
It's a
on our website.
it's an all-inclusive form. You can make a suggestion for that, or a book that you want us to purchase,
Yeah.
you know, or whatever, how much money you should devote to Libby, how much award-winning displays you should have. It's all there.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but another
You're wrong.
distinction, if I'm wrong.
Oh, sorry.
Is when you offer a program at the library, you may not promote your own business, but if you offer a program through the rec facility,
Yeah.
you may.
Yeah.
That's generally true.
So that might, I don't know if that is relevant
Yeah,
to this person.
I don't think it is. I think it's a skill she has, and
Yeah.
and she's retired, and she's just looking for other outlets to
Yeah.
share what she knows.
I mean, and we do all kinds of stuff like that, right? I mean,
That's what I thought,
reading,
yeah.
like even this summer, one of the summer reading programs was a group that demoed and then taught how to break dance.
Oh, cool.
So
Yeah.
it could be beating,
Yeah.
right? I mean, it doesn't matter. It's just, so it's there,
Yeah.
you know.
Okay.
But like Tracy said, that's the best way to start it, is through make a suggestion. Then based on what they describe of what they want to do and what the audience is for, then we can
Yeah.
get it to the right staff that can then contact
Okay.
them and kind of have that conversation.
Okay. Okay, that's it so far.
Okay, that's good.
Thank
I
you.
like it. I love
Yeah.
hearing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we have a report from?
Yeah, I have some things. So we were supposed to talk about the distal toll and swap tomorrow, but it's put on hold. Oh, you know
Well,
about it?
I mean, the paper told you.
Yes.
So, yes.
Well, and I think, so what's, the city owns both those spots, both those parcels. And we have contracted with Wholesome for gravel mining. So it was really, the idea, the rationale behind it was that it would, if we did the land swap with open space, so distal was bought with open space funds and toll was purchased with public works funds. So if we did that land swap, the idea was that at distal, it had the infrastructure for sewage, for water, it had all that already on site, so it would be more cost effective for the city. And we'd be able to get the composting facility sooner. Whereas toll, it doesn't have any of the infrastructure, so it would have to be built. We hadn't really received the commitment, or, I want to see an MOU or something signed by Boulder County saying, yeah, I'll fund this. So that way we're not left with incurring all the costs to do the infrastructure piece. So we're going to get an executive session, we're going to have an update. I mean, if there's contractual changes with Ulster, all this effort will be a moot point. So, so I'll know, and then once, we have the discussion, council will give direction or feedback, and then it'll come to us in a public discussion. So, and I have no idea what we're going to be talking about in there, so, but it's an executive session. And then Quail Road annexation, we did move it forward for referral. It was at 310, another one that was very highly debated. 310 apartments. We referred it under the condition that they would have an MOU with the Habitat, and I believe it was for 47 for purchase Habitat homes. But what I heard from their first public engagement meeting, that the developer is willing to carve out some space of that. So there might be some there'll be some rental, but looking at an opportunity to do for sale units as well as Habitat. I have to go back and look at the video to know for sure. But I also know that there are some people that I've been working with who are really interested in IDD housing. Individuals with developmental disabilities. So I think, like my son, he lives in our basement. And a lot of us in the community, as we talk and our kids are aging, so I was part of a parent group back when my son was in 4th and 5th grade. So some of the people in our group are now in their 70s and their children are in their 30s. And they're thinking, okay, what's going to happen after I die? We have people experiencing homelessness because of developmental delays or mental health issues. So these IDD housing really centralizes where they have those supportive services. So the whole bottom floor is supportive services. So if you look at one of the developers that is part of our group, I toured one of his buildings in Littleton, and it's 85 condos, and they're for purchase. And people with disabilities live there. They also have almost a split of seniors who independent, don't need assisted living, but have purchased there. So it's built a really neat community with the two. And the bottom floor has a craft room, movie, full kitchen, dining area. They also have offices for when the service providers come and meet with residents. So, we're kind of conceptualizing, well, maybe it's an opportunity to bring something like that in that area. And so, there's some talk, and it sounds like there might be some flexibility as far as with the developer and the landowners to incorporate some for sale housing on that lot. So yeah.
So where on Quail Road?
It's Quail. So actually, the access point, when you drive, you're on Clover Basin. So near the corner of Clover Basin, the airport.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh.
The other side.
Yeah.
The other side. I'm thinking rec center.
Rec center.
Yeah.
No, other side.
Okay.
And
It's weird for where the roads.
I know.
Yeah.
It kind of splits. And so that was. So that's going for community discussion right now, and we'll see what happens when it comes back to us. If it's something that is in the best interest of the community, aligns with the neighborhood, and compatibility.
Would the cost be less? They're affordable units?
So
less than market?
Well, it depends. So it depends on what kind of structure or what kind of developer they work with. So it depends on what I've seen developers who focus on senior housing, where they might work in the LIHTC world and for funding. So it's all kind of how how they get acquire the funding to support. If they're part of a nonprofit and they come in, like Habitat, then they would, they have come in at a lower price.
Okay.
So it kind of depends. If it's a market rate developer who's, then it's that. So then it won't be affordable. But that's, that was something that we as council really prioritized. It's like, let's look at these other options. What are the needs in the community? This is what we're hearing our constituents say. So there's a way you can incorporate that in. Yeah. So that one, I don't know when it's coming back. They're still in the process and planning phase, so it's really early. We've recently approved ADU changes in Orlando that align with the state. So currently what I'm finding, and I've spoken to several constituents about this, is the finance structure, permitting fees, it's unattainable for people, just somebody who owns a home to be able to build an additional unit in their backyard, because it costs, the permitting costs too much and supplies. So re-looking at, I think really what's going to help is us kind of critically thinking and looking at our finance structure. Because that's, it's all going to come down to people's bottom line.
Yeah,
What they can afford to do. I mean, we can do all the stuff to our ordinances and change everything, but if people can't afford to do it, so let's start looking at our numbers here.
I can actually speak to that, because we are doing an ADU in my basement as we speak.
Oh, okay.
I had jackhammering 2 weeks ago.
Oh, wow, yeah. No, I'd love to sit down and.
But the contractor that we have said, let's wait until after June 30th to apply for the permits, because it is getting simpler. So he waited and then he just applied, and I had to do all this stuff. And one of the things I had to do, and I thought this was a little not quite fair.
Yeah.
I had to go to the school district and pay a fee because it's additional housing, and that impacts the school district.
Yes.
But I have been paying school district taxes for 25 years here with no student.
Yeah, exactly.
Why do I have to pay anything? I mean, there is, my granddaughter's moving in, so she will be going to Springfield Valley schools. But
you've
I've already been paying. This is not like a new piece of land.
So that's the thing, it's one property, one owner.
I mean, I could have done
those kinds of things, that's what I want to look at.
Yeah.
And that's.
Because I could have done it as just, we're just putting bedrooms in our basement. We wouldn't have to do this.
Mm-hmm.
But because we want an external door so that they can come and go and not go up, traipse up through our house every time. And because we're putting in a kitchen, it's an ADU.
Yeah.
So, why do I have to, I mean, because it's a single unit, it was like $400. But, $400 is $400.
Yeah. No, it adds up. And
I don't even know how much the permits are, because we just pay the contract. Yeah, but it's a lot.
It's a lot.
We're spending a lot on
So,
this.
if we are wanting to use ADUs as an option for affordable housing, for people with disabilities, seniors, low income, unhoused, we have to make it easier for people to live these.
And that's
changing the ordinance was the easy part.
Yeah. I mean, that's the whole reason we're doing this, is because my husband and I are getting older.
Yeah.
My daughter has a disability. And she could no longer afford to live in a separate house.
Yeah.
So she sold her house, and the equity that she got from that house is paying for this ADU, and then she will not have a mortgage.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's exactly what you're talking about.
Yes,
Seniors, disabled,
Yes.
and using available space already, it's already there.
Existence. Yes.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what we're mulling around and looking at.
Case study.
I know, that's why we gotta reach out, we gotta chat, yes.
Yeah.
And then speaking of Ascent, so we are gonna be approving, or it's gonna be brought for us for a vote, the rooftop solar at Ascent. So it's gonna be approximately 11,000 square foot solar panels that we're gonna put on the Ascent building for the residents. So a section of it will be for storage, storage of the electricity, but also for the electric for residents. So also exploring those options for people who are wanting to do individual solar. Let's work to make that feasible. There's options out there. So a lot of it is just like now, just looking at numbers and doing math. Like I said, it's easy to change the words in the ordinances. It's the number stuff that I'm like, but that's all I have. Does anyone have any questions for me? Oh, we do have, I forgot, because Jody Marsh, our former assistant city manager, has retired. So Jen Uten, if I'm saying her name correctly, has been recently appointed. So we have a new You stand for something.
What's her name?
Jen Ooten, Ooton.
So she, I was in one of the interview panels. So that's the assistant city manager, one of the 3 or 4 that we have here or so. But this one oversees external services, right, which includes the library. Currently, we have an interim, right, which is Zach Artis, who is generally public safety. Actually, this has been really good.
Really? Oh, good.
Yeah, because
wondering how that-
just to talk kind of police and public safety, and it's actually pretty good. But anyway, Jen is in Aspen currently, and she's had obviously a breadth of experience in city stuff. She wouldn't be, where she's at here, but she actually lived in Longmont at one point and worked for the Times Hall.
Yeah.
And then got into city government and has been in Aspen, and so they selected her. She will start at the end of August.
August 25th. Which will be the same night as our fishbowl on minimum wage. So if y'all want to go to the, I think it's at the museum. Nope, it's at the senior center.
Oh yeah.
That's another one.
Yeah. Should go to that.
I go through wine like crazy, man.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But she'll start August 25th, and at least internally, she'll be spending probably the rest of the year getting up to speed on some of the major city projects, because part of what this person has oversight of, besides the library, recreation, and museum, is also planning and development, like huge stuff in the airport.
Oh wow.
It's a huge oversight, and there's so many projects going on right now. So in tandem between Jen starting and then Zach will remain and kind of keep our external services kind of going while this person gets up to speed, and then he'll taper off and go back to public safety. So that's kind of the structure that'll happen. But I can at least say from the one interview panel I did, I like Jen. There was actually 2 Jens in that interview panel. So when it finally came down to it, I'm like, wait, which one?
Which one is it?
Which Jen?
I need a picture with that.
I thought they were both pretty good. One of them was, the other one was is currently like in Westminster or somewhere,
Okay.
working for the city or county or something. And obviously somewhat of a similar role, but there was some follow-up interviews. So.
That's all I have.
Thank you, Susan. Sure. Does anybody have any report on behalf of the Friends?
I guess, they had their retreat last week. Tracy and I were invited just for the lunch portion, and so we talked just some library business.
Yeah.
And they only recently released some minutes, but they're trying to figure out some financials. They've had some financial discrepancies that they're trying to reconcile, and they brought in a CPA, and they're doing the right things to kind of do that. There's been turnover on the Friends board, so there's a new treasurer, there's another new member. In the last year, it's almost like a whole new board except for like 1 or 2 people.
We get a new bookkeeper.
Yeah. Right, is that right, Tracy?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot of turnover there. But they seem to have a good meeting. They also echoed similar good experience from the concert, from their own perspective, just as you did. So I think that's kind of about what's going on with the board, at least as far as I know.
And they have a sale, their next sale is.
Yeah, here's the other thing. They just decided, so 2 things. They came up with their quarterly book sale schedule for the year. They really wanted to have one in the summer, but they never planned enough time, and we plan all the summer reading. And you've been at the book sales, it takes up all of us.
Right.
So we can't do programs. But what I told them is, if you plan a year in advance, we'll block it out, because we're only talking Wednesday through Saturday. So they came up with a June date. They think it'll help to have a summer date. And it's fine for our programming, as long as we know. That's one thing. And then the other thing is they are going to be starting pop-up book sales, which they'll do just out here, maybe a table. And I don't know if they're going to theme it or whatever. Is that right, Tracy?
Concert. Like, I mean, I love
And I think they want to try it here.
away, but
Well, and here is good because the books are here, right?
yeah.
But I think, they kind of want to test that out and maybe see if they want to grow that. They have ambitions to be at library programs where they're, have a presence, whether they're selling books, certainly memberships, any program that they generally say support them all. So they'll have an appearance at more programs. That's a lot of what they're looking forward to in the next year or so. The pop-up book sale was pretty new, but I think it's going to be on Sundays every month, starting in September.
Yes, September through November.
Yeah, so there's some activity going on there. Yeah.
Interesting.
So that's what I know. Is there anything else from your friends? No. Yeah, that's kind of it.
Want to follow up with Wanda and most
Their friends' board meeting, their regular board meeting is this Wednesday.
this Wednesday.
So
I don't think it's that kind of thing. It's just
yeah.
like I would love to hear from Wanda, like if there were any specific comments around continuing to share these community events and.
She spoke very highly of it at the retreat when we were there, and just
they got
she just really thought it was good, and not even just for themselves. I think just she just spoke highly of everyone involved. And
it was neat having like people representing different aspects.
yeah.
So there was someone to talk to regardless of what your issue was. Or interest, I should say. Very cool. I think that's it for the agenda items. Are there any last comments from board members?
Were you going to hand out those flyers?
Yeah, these were for, my thought was for the downtown concert on August 9th. These are just some flyers for our esports. You're welcome to take them, Susie. I can definitely print more. But yeah, we just still need volunteers, and we very much need booth support. So if any organizations or even individuals, if they are interested in having a booth table, we do have a form that can be filled out. So it's all through the website. Everything is up there. But yeah, this is just to kind of promote the event.
Share this with council.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
If there's nothing else, then
It was neat to be involved with the library.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
you all know Susie was there.
And
I mean, I'm gathering.
Susie-
yeah. Yeah, I just said don't tell the museum.
But you
I'm
were like
also
kind of
liaison to the
stealthy.
museum.
Well, the
You were
museum
kinda
could have been there.
Stealthy? What? Like, what do you?
Like, well, I imagine that in some parts of this city you're quite recognizable, but
Yes. No, they. I feel like I had
No,
something.
no,
it's like incognito.
it's that you were really there as a volunteer.
Yes,
and
yes, and
yourself,
that's where I think
right?
it's
Like,
important that we on council do stuff like this.
Yeah.
I enjoy it.
that she wasn't like, it's me, Susie.
Yes,
don't
and
go
doing this
for it.
thing. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
no.
Yeah,
I
with
was
the
like,
parade. Right?
yes, yeah.
She was one of the gang.
I was
That
one of the
cool.
gang. I'm like, yeah, put me to work. Yeah.
Because you got the real perspective.
Yes, yeah. That was fun.
Then we will adjourn this meeting at 8:54. Thank you, everyone.